We have just a small amount of notes to take today, and that's on small claims court, something I want you to be aware of. If this is not on your note guide, I think you should write it down on your note guide anyway, somewhere, just so you know this stuff. A lot of the cases we've looked at in this class are big cases, ones that maybe for hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars, in which you would have a jury, and a jury would determine, if the person was liable or not, and if they needed to pay, and so on. But that's not the norm. The norm when we have conflicts are for smaller things. Let's say that somebody scratches up your car. They take a key and they key your car, and they rip the paint off of it. And maybe they get arrested for vandalism and have to pay a fine to the state, but that doesn't help you any. So how do you get your money back? Well, let's say they caused $500 worth of damage to your car. You could hire a lawyer and take them to court, but it might cost you more than $500 just to retain that lawyer, in which case it's costing you money to get your money back. It doesn't make any sense. Well, because of that, states have created a small claims court. And if you've ever watched like Judge Judy or Joe Brown or any of those, that's small claims court. So let me explain to you a little bit on how small claims work in South Dakota. It's going to be similar in every state, but South Dakota, this is the exact rules in South Dakota. First of all, if someone does some injury to you, so in this case, let's say your car was keyed, you can bring up that case to small claims court within 6 years. If you wait 10 years, it's too late. You can't make a claim anymore. Both the plaintiff and the defendant must be at least 18 years of age or be represented by a parent or guardian. The most you can sue for, the most you can get is $12,000. So if somebody causes $20,000 of damage to you and you sue them in small claims court, you can't collect $20,000. The max you can get is $12,000. Now, how this works is you don't need a lawyer. It's designed for regular old people to bring up cases against other people, or sometimes businesses bring up cases against people. In fact, this happens quite a bit. So no lawyer is needed. If you feel you're wrong, somebody keyed my car or your car, you file a complaint to the courts. The court then gives that to the person who you're suing, the defendant. They file an answer. Both of those are filed with the courts, and the court sets up a date in which you will meet, and then both parties get to express what happened. If you're the one suing, either way, you should bring evidence to your case. You got to prove your case, and it's just handled with a judge. A judge makes a ruling, and there's no appeals to it. So if you're suing me for keying your car, you sign that complaint. I give my answer. You bring the evidence to court. I try to defend myself. And if the judge rules on your behalf, then I have to pay whatever it is. I can't appeal it. But we don't need lawyers defending us. And it happens quick. It's not a long, drawn-out process. And we see this quite a bit. You'll probably be involved in small claims court. Maybe you'll rent an apartment and you'll pay a security deposit. And when you move out, your landlord won't give you a security deposit back, but you feel you deserve to have it back. There's a dispute there. Or maybe you rent an apartment with somebody. You and your roommate are both supposed to pay half the rent, but your roommate doesn't pay the rent for 3 months. You end up having to pay theirs, and you were wronged, and how do you make that right? Well, small claims court does this. Small claims court are used a lot by businesses. Let's say you're a carpenter and you build a deck for somebody. They paid you half at the beginning, and they were supposed to pay you half at the end, but they refused to pay that second half. You've sent them bills, they don't pay. So you take them to court. And if you go to small claims court, if you ever go watch it in South Dakota in the county courthouse, a lot of that is businesses trying to collect from individuals. But it's a way to settle some of those smaller issues up to $12,000. And the loser has to pay the court fees, which are not very much. Okay, court fees in South Dakota, if you're suing for $100 or less, are $25. So if you sue somebody and you lose, you're out $25. The most you could be out is $45. So that's how small claims work. Small claims court works in South Dakota. There's different rules in every state, but every state has a version of small claims court. It's something that you should know. And we'll do a little bit more of a small claims court today. All right, that's all I got for at least the note aspect.